kingdom from the concrete. Overpower, Prodigy. Yeah, the crown is what I came for. Overpower, Prodigy.
Hello, hello. We are back. We are in round 5 of the Ray Tan Show. This is the third consecutive game with my boy on here. And he is facing Cory Sims, who has been dominating. Actually, both of them have been doing really well. I'm pretty sure Ray just said something like, when I last saw you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. Looks like Cory goes second, draws a dupe and regrows it. And did he draw a second dupe? Looks like he has 2 cards in that power pack. That's unfortunate if so. We got a Mina-only teamwork. Love seeing these greedy builds for the high defense decks. Somewhere Sean Valentine is pulling his hair out, going, how do you have 7 cards for only 1 character? What if they go down? And Ray's like, aha, they don't go down. Somehow keeps his max 6s alive for ages. Between the Any Hero defensive suite, the negates, the St. Michael, and the harness. Oof, draws EFL hand 1. That is rough for Cory. Cory gets his Not a Bad Detective and his Witch 7 1-eye. I think Ray is up a card. It looks like Cory did double dupe there. He has his own 1-eye. Intellect galore. Got an Any Power card going on to Arthur. Looks like a 6. And Cory trying to keep Arthur alive. 3 multi on Merlin. Both these decks are really cohesive. They have a strong synergy between all of the characters. You don't want to lose anybody, you know, versus the Norse strategy of just let Deja go and I'll happily trade characters. I tend to gravitate more towards these style decks as well, although I really do like the sacrifice ones. Ray probably bids 2, slightly off camera. I can only imagine he bids 2. Cory bids 1 and he does a scry. Unfortunately for Ray, was only able to place 5. So Cory's now up a card, although he is down in the venture. We'll see how the duping hits them round 2. Does have a lot of power cards placed. Oh no. All 3 of his Arthur or teammate avoid 6 or less with Merlin on the team. 4 or less if he's without Lancelot or Merlin. That is a bummer. So from... he was 1 card up for just the briefest of moments there. Looks like Ray has a fistful of keepers. Mina negate, Merlin. I think that's a teamwork and some power cards. So he's feeling pretty good. Ray still with initiative. Deciding what to place. Deliberation. Comes a teamwork. I gotta imagine it's going on Joan, because then you can throw it as a +2. He might be doing the wise choice of what we've seen all tourney, which is when you're against a negator like Mina or Merlin, you try and pop EFL defensively. so that it can't just get snap negated. If you get it out defensively, it is much harder to get rid of. Requires extra steps from your opponent, and you also have additional time and ability to protect it with your own negate. That just sucks for Cory. So what happens though sometimes when you run a bunch of triplicates, like I face that with my Nats deck. There's so many trips that sometimes you just draw all three in one hand. It like each, I believe the math is like 1% of hands drawn. If you have a triplicate with 56 cards, 1% you'll draw all three of them. So it's only 1 out of 100. But if you think about that, like if you're rolling dice, right? Like percentile and you got to hit an odd 1. You're not just rolling that once per hand, because if you have like 5 sets of triplicates, you're rolling that 5 times per hand. So it's actually going to happen, you know, probably a couple times a day over the course of a long tournament. Of course, you could get lucky and go the whole tourney without it happening, and ideally you just do a single dupe and then you make sure you play your other one and then you have one left in the deck, which is Dave's whole theory with why triplicates are better than doubles, but of course you can never double dupe on a single double, right? Ooh, I think Cory just saw Gemini and put it at the bottom. That is freaking clutch. I love that. Merlin, Mina negate 5, Joan 4, and stop a teamwork. Looks like Cory ran again. He is not happy with where things are at. But, you know, he's been doing this all tourney, like place out, get a card advantage, back himself into a wall, and then make a stand. And here we go. Here come the dupes. I guess it's just one for each player. It's not so bad. Ray has 8 plays, 7 in hand, 15 total. Cory has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 7, 16 total. So he's up 1 card, assuming he can utilize Heavy as the Head for something. As of right now, he can only play the Watson card unless he throw away a Merlin negate last hand. I had to imagine he would have placed it if he found one, even with 3 in the deck. It just is so vital to have one. It's an 8 energy, and he's going to put that on the bottom. Interesting. Probably because he hasn't seen any of them yet, so he knows it's likely he's going to draw another one he doesn't want to dupe. Probably a heads-up play. Even though this camera doesn't show us the missions being ventured, it's very nice that we're able to see what Cory's peeking at. It gives a little view behind the curtain, which is pretty interesting. A lot of people are like, the ones who even remember to use Merlin Inherent, they're like, what am I shuffling to the bottom? What am I keeping on top? Like, cards that you have 3 ofs that are going to dupe on, it's probably smart to put at the bottom. Teamworks, because those are great going into the power pack. You know, if you have like an Arthur 9, I would even consider throwing that at the bottom, because going into power pack that becomes unblockable, versus you're going to just run into any hero defense or a negate or something mid game. But there's a lot to consider, but I certainly like thinning out the dupes. Also, fun fact, I don't really like to run it anyways, but some people play select the slain, you scry the top 5 and pick one, and then you reshuffle your deck. So you don't really want to play select the slain with Merlin, because then you're reshuffling your own deck and you're undoing all the work of shimmying your cards to the bottom and foretelling the future, as it were. But anyways, I'm rambling on. We got some combat here. So Ray launched a 4, subjugate the meek, 4 making a dish from Mina at Merlin, and Cory chose to take it. And then he did a Mina discard, and he's trying to get rid of Heavy as the Head. Smart play. Cory wants to save that, so he's spending his any character shift. I think since Cory drew a card, I think Ray is betting 3 for the win here. It's the only reason he would have drawn a card right before doing his Merlin scry. So I think Cory has to fight this one out and has to win Venture. Which if he does, he'll be in a pretty good position. Looks like Ray just decides to take the teamwork, which is interesting. I mean, you can take the teamwork. There's lots of power cards showing. I do like getting rid of the 3 multi also. Because if Ray doesn't have his harness, well, even if he does, like the multis are just cancer to take. So we have a Watson Scry. Show me 2 cards playable by Joan in your hand. And Ray has a fistful of cards, so he's got to show his 2 weakest cards. So I think he's going to show that 2 combat and then a 4 multi. So yep, goodbye 4 multi. Heads up play by Cory, and now he knows he has a 2, which he can up block with EFL to a 4. So that is information revealed. Ray says, I'll try this again. Discard. You're freaking heavy as the head. Cory's like, dude, that's rude. Oh, he spends the Merlin negate. Now heavy as the head is live to actually negate something. Here comes the aspect 4. Interestingly, he's gunning for Joan, even though EFL's already there. Yeah, and you know the 2+2's coming. But he planned on it because he has another 4. So it was kind of a bait. Well played, Cory. I like his string. I don't... Yeah. Yeah, you should be throwing everything at the witch. Just leave Joan alone. She's only a high priority target if you can take her out before EFL comes out. I like gunning for Mina or Witch, and I certainly like Witch the most. Versus on Ray's side, I think you need to do the same thing. I think you need to gun for Witch. There is some merit to taking Merlin out and getting rid of the negates so that all your stuff is going to stick. You don't have to worry about your harness being deleted or your EFL. And your 8-10s are just going to sail over everything. A million decisions being made, though. Over and over. I think Ray's realizing he might not have the gas to put this one away. He does have some big numbers showing, but Cory has more cards in hand. It's also possible that Cory's targeting is specifically so that Ray has to use the 6 energy on Witch as an attack, and then he can use the Arthur 6 or less. He may be calculating out, like some players like add up all the venture on both sides and figure out how close they are. Of course, things like a sneaky KO and losing cards, losing the playability of some cards can, of course, change the math. But that's something I need to work on, too. It's just adding up the numbers back and forth. I definitely play more based on feel and intuition, but knowing the math is clutch, especially when your back's up against the wall and someone's going for the win. Suppose the 6 or less still works just as good on that 6 teamwork. We still don't know if either player has harnessed the win. They've yet to have a need to play it, so if it's in hand, it will be a nice surprise. It's even more interesting if neither has it. Such a stupid card. Let me shift all these attacks to wherever I want for the rest of the battle. Seems pretty good. It's a cheese. It's a ball of cheese. That's what that is. I'm excited for Skybound, where there's going to be cards that say this attack may not be shifted. I'm a little worried with Adam Eve that we're just going to see Adam Eve plus Witch, and then somebody who does icon shenanigans like John Carter or Joan. I think Witch, Joan, Adam Eve is going to be a beast of a team. Arthur, teammate of Void. Let's go. Stops that 9 ball. So Cory trying to get some up blocks made here. He's like, you want to keep your Joan, you're gonna have to spend some big numbers. That's a 3. You're gonna have to block it with a 9. And he could heavy as the head and go and get the Watson peak and do it again. I mean, you kind of want to save it for a negate, but Ray also has no more special showing. Wow, he takes it. Pretty sure he has St. Michael in his hand. That was an interesting choice. Then we have a 7 coming across at Witch. EFL does not boost that 6 energy power card. And Ray's going Rutrow. Joan and Witch both being 1 hit from death with all those multis remaining. I think Cory's even thinking ahead long term here. Like, obviously, he has to win the venture, and that's priority 1. But priority 2 is paint guys up and then save your multis so that next battle, even if Harness comes out, those multis are all KO shots, no matter where they're shifted. It is one way to fight Harness. I don't know what's in Ray's hand, but I have just kind of like a gut feeling that right now he's in the I have to win venture to close the game mentality, which is okay, but there is a sunk cost fallacy at a certain point. Like, if you're going to lose the venture and lose multiple, avoid 6 or less, stops a 6. If you're not going to win venture and you're going to lose a character or 2, you got to always consider the alternate line of when it's worth to rabbit. Interesting that he's now changing targets to Arthur. That could be a second color on Merlin, putting big pressure on Cory. You've already seen the teammate avoid. Maybe he thinks heavy as the head can go get it. There's the St. Michael. And he did surprise him by not playing it on the 3. Stop any card with a combat icon. No intelligence attacks can be played. Which means that Merlin can't throw that. Cory did a boopsie because he can only throw... Oh, he remembered. Out of guy. So the reason he can't throw that is St. Michael says no intelligence attacks may be played. Arthur threw the teamwork, silly goose. Oh, no, he didn't. Never mind. It was an energy teamwork. That must have been coming from Witch. No intellect attacks may be made against Joan's team for remainder of battle. So it has to be combat. And Merlin only has a 2 combat, Witch only has a 3 combat, so they cannot use those multis through their combat grid the way they're placed. If they were swapped, Witch could throw the 3. But Merlin is his cute little, the double deuce. He's a 7 deuce deuce 6, so he cannot throw any multis as combat or brute force. He needs to hit the gym. I want to see a swole Merlin. Maybe ERB part 2. Merlin with like a 7 brute force. He's just been roiding out. Just hitting the transmogrification potion a little too hard, you know? It'd be sick. All right, I do like this, though. He throws the 6 any as a 6+1 as a Snevin. And it is a KO shot on Ray's Witch. And he gets up and over that 6 because it equals 20. 7, 7, and 6 is 20. Oh, wow. He takes her down. Down goes the Witch. And this is what I was talking about with that sunk cost fallacy thing. Ray was so tunneled in on I have to win this hand. And now he's going to lose the hand and the Witch. And he might also lose Joan, too. And if he rabbits now, like, what did he accomplish? He got 1 hit on Merlin, 1 hit on Arthur. Cory still has heavy as the head in both his multis. He is in serious trouble. Target switching can... Oh, wow. Mina negate and the Witch 4. He runs. Yeah, that was just expertly played by Cory. I think you got to be like really, really intentional with your target switching. Definitely target switching has caught me with my pants down before. And you get like a character, just one of your characters gets KO'd, which you do not expect. Oh, wow. Down goes Harness, down goes an 8. Imagine he gets to use those. Now he is in big trouble. Cory has initiative. Joan is thrashed. Witch is... yeah, ugh. Cory's the master at getting backed into a corner and then slapping his opponent silly. I don't think it was necessarily the wrong call for Ray to bid 3 for the win there, but I think he just should have had an exit plan. He shouldn't have been like, oh, I'm going all in. And that Morgan heal is juicy, but there's a Merlin negate staring at the other side. He may even place out and try and run here. Down so many cards. I could see Cory doing a big bet to punish. I think it's 8 to 10. Cory has 10. Ray has 8. I think you can bid 3. I don't know if I like 4. He does bid 3. Ray bids something. Cory shimmies that card to the bottom. And they are going to fight. Wow. Here comes a Merlin 4. Make an additional for the KO. He's going to say, open your hand and show me if you want to negate this. And I love this play. Give me all the information. But I think Ray has a lot of defensive options. Yep, there just comes the fairy. There's a Grim Reaper. And the Freya. Interesting that he didn't spend the negate. I would have rather spent the negate and just show him the Freya. Because now, if Cory has a teamwork or something, I think he can take Morgan. And then the 7 energy is now a dead card also. And I don't think Ray's seen the Morgan negate, so he has another dead card in there if Cory's able to take her down. Now, if you're Ray, what do? Do you launch a teamwork? Unfortunately, that 5 special on Mina that acts as a power card can't follow an intelligence teamwork because it's the same color. He is going to try and put Arthur down. Oh no, he's going to try and second color Merlin. Okay, so now Cory's in a little bit of trouble. Ray does not have anything showing that can KO them. He's got 1 card left. He plays the Merlin spy card. And he says, I don't know what he said. He either said specials or power cards, most likely. I doubt he said universe. So whatever he called, he's either deliberating or he called the wrong one. And he placed it in front of Mina, but that's actually an opponent. It's not a target character. Cory's crazy going for the 1. And he did say power cards, so Ray negated it with the Mina card. I guess if the 4 and the 6 both get through, then Arthur will die. Arthur is down. So there is some... That is a big victory for Ray. I like that. Throw the 8 from hand, keep your stuff, because he's surely going to run next action. He's thinking about it, but there's nothing to think about here. I mean, can he win Venture? 14, 18. 18 to Cory's 11 plus 2 from Watson, 13. Ray can get to 23. So I guess if Cory doesn't have at least a 2 in his hand, then Ray could win Venture, but does it matter? Yeah. You're going to lose Morgan. It's not worth. He runs, as I think one should. But I do really like the counterattack that just happened, because now Arthur's down. We haven't seen either of Arthur's bombs. We've seen a lot of his defense, but we haven't seen his 7 or his 9. And that's big. Or his 7 combat power card. We know Cory placed just for Arthur. So there's a lot of unique cards to him. Let's count them. 3 6 or lesses. The 7, the 9, heavy as the head. 7 power card. That's already 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then however many teammate avoids. So even if he only has 1, but he probably has 2. He's have 9 cards playable by Arthur. Like, that's just insanity. At least 8, because we saw 1 team avoid. At least 8 cards. And we've seen a lot of them already, so it's not the end of the world this game, but... Also, that passive +1 to venture every round is pretty relevant. There's that Morgan negate. So if Ray had chosen to stay and win that battle, he'd have even one more unusable. Can't put that there, sir. Joan is too smart for the 5 or less intellect ally. Gonna have to switch those two. We'll see if anybody notices. Joan has a 7 or intellect, so she cannot play the 5 or less. But Morgan can. And Joan can play the 5 or less brute force. So you just need to switch those two, and it's fine. The intellect ally really not much of a threat on Ray's side. Also has 3 allies showing, which, like, I guess he has 2 follow-ups, but does he have a third? Cory draws Hades, and he still goes 4 for the win. Wow. Ray is nervous. He's shaking. Oh, he draws a Grim Reaper and his aspect. That's huge. Cory's going to go first. Don't forget to scry, buddy. He looks anyways, even though Merlin hopes there is no future. He hopes this is it. Teamwork. 6 ball, corner pocket. Not for the KO. I do like opening with a teamwork because that Morgan negate showing on the other side. If you can drill her down, render the negate useless. The question is, can Ray bait the Merlin negate with his Morgan heal and then get the Reaper off, or vice versa. It's going to take some turns. Cory might be able to put Joan down before then. Ray does have a 5 multi in his hand, I see, which can be pumped to a 7 for either of the ladies except Mina with the FL. He's just counting those cards back and forth. I think you got to take the 6, buddy. It's not a kill shot. I think blocking it is probably a mistake because you could use it to something else to block one of those multi-power cards that have been sitting ominously the whole game. But if Morgan goes down here, you do lose 3 cards, so I also understand the desire to block it. But she's already at 2 colors. I think that brings her to 13 in 2 colors. There's a 3 and a 4, right? Decides to take it. Big decision. Ooh. 7 ball from Merlin. And that is blocked. Man, Cory was hoping that one gets through. Now Watson can throw something at a +2, but I think he says no more. Cory has a fairy and a Freya. I do like that. Oh, he's trying to bait with the heal, get the negate. Oh man. Oh man. He's gonna say specials, and Ray just negates the scry. They're negateless, and here comes the Reaper, but he doesn't know there's a Freya also. Man, if he had no Freya here, part of why he bid big. Gotta check an ally first, right? Or that aspect too. Still can't believe they both haven't noticed the ally on Joan is wrong. So much to keep track of mid-game. I definitely don't fault anybody for missing stuff. I miss stuff a billion times. Takes a 3, and there's the Reaper. Cory defends it. Ray's going, uh-oh. I think they're fairly even on cards, but I think here comes the Witch 8 over the top to just smoke Joan and delete that ineligible ally. Put her in the ground. Oh, nope, I stand corrected. He goes for Morgan still. Interesting. I mean, all that matters is Venture, but I would have gone for Joan, try and get rid of 3 extra Venture that's sitting on her. Takes it. Even if Cory loses this hand, he's going to be against Ray's little old max 6 character. I think Ray still has that 5 multi in his hand, so he could use it to block this. He could have used it to block and then save the anti-hero shift to potentially keep Joan alive. Oh, he's going for the double KO on Witch. Multi into multi. I like this play. I still think he's cooked, but I do like this play. I don't know what Cory has left. $13-16 venture right now. But that 5 would eliminate the 8. Oh no, never mind. His 5 multi is in his discard pile, so he doesn't have that left. I don't know what Ray's last card is. It'll be interesting. He spends the 8. Probably a smart play, because if this last card is like the Joan 8-10, then nothing would defend it, and Witch dies, and then you'd lose 16 ventures. So I think Cory did the math and realizes he wins either way, no matter what this card is. 6, 11. Let's say it's an 8. That brings him 19, and Cory's at 9, 14, 16 plus 8. Yep, there's the handshake. GG's. Cory wins, takes down everyone except for Mina Harker. Wow, what a game. That was a good push at the end. I mean, Cory knows when you see your window, you got to take it. And like, even if he didn't win, he still would have taken everyone down except for Mina. So Ray did the best he could, but his only fault was staying in that one battle a little bit too long, where he let, unfortunately, Witch go down and then drew immediately into an 8 and Harness. And like, both these decks can crumple if a certain character goes down too early. And that's unfortunately just what happened. But I mean, Cory's a magician, so he makes magic happen, and Merlin definitely helps. What a game, though. What a game. Cool. Don't forget to like if you enjoy the content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.